And like I said, there's completely nothing wrong with setting them on fire and letting them run down the street. Just remember, if you're going to place a number or bet on one of them, you got to find the corpse afterwards to figure out where it dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Loki. And I think once you've set the person on fire and released them into the wild, that's up to them. I mean, now everything is on them. I mean, all you did was just set them on fire, you know.
Yeah, I just gave them back to the world. They just have to figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's the easy part. You know, you give someone fire, they're warm for like, what, an hour or two. You light them on fire, they're warm for the rest of their life. So
yeah,
exactly.
That's an excellent point, Dorian. Oh, shit, we're on already.
Oh, hi, everybody.
We really got to be careful about that. We're always saying the wrong stuff whenever this show begins. We really should be more careful.
We should be, but I don't think we're gonna.
No, probably not. So just to give you all a heads up, earlier when we were chatting before this hangout, my Google Hangout got disconnected twice. So if it happens again, there's a good chance I might start a new Google Hangout. If that's the case, then go back to your old feed or go back to your subscription feed and click on the new Hangout. So in case this call or this Google Hangout gets dropped, that's what we're going to do. So just giving you a heads up. And then, go ahead.
I was just reading what you named the episode.
Yes, episode 0.
we forgot what number we're on, people.
I mean, I don't know. We keep arbitrarily giving these hangouts the wrong number, so I'm just like, screw it. You know?
When I'm hosting again, it's just going to be 69 every time, just because.
Yeah, exactly. Episode 69. Yep.
We've
Exactly.
traveled out.
If you don't like feet in your face, don't come to this hangout. That is how you do a 69, right? Or am I wrong?
Oh, you
Have I been doing it wrong all this time?
Poor
Damn it.
bastard.
So, and then I believe Loki has an update on D&D, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way.
Well, update is D&D is being pushed back at the meeting moment because Loki is getting ready to move because rent is horrible and people are horrible and all that fun stuff. But so a good portion of the stuff that I would need for right now are in a box. But I will be making a video on how to build a character for said game or for D&D just to start with. So I will hopefully have that up sometime this week. But until then, it's on hold until I get settled in my new place. And I promise things will happen. Come hell or high water or hellbound heathen grows hair. If he grows hair, then I think we better start praying to Jesus.
Well, you mean hair on top of my head. I apparently grow hair everywhere else except the very top of my head.
If he ends up having a luxurious mane like mine, then we pray to Jesus.
I grow hair in my ears, okay?
Oh.
Well, if we are going to be heathens and pray to Jesus, I'm ready. I'm ready, everybody. Christian Wicca, right here. I'd be a Christian witch.
Yes, we've lost Dorian. Somehow we went astray, and his eternal soul is saved. I don't know how we went wrong, but we lost him.
Kanye West endorsed Trump, and Trump is with Jesus. So
everything's topsy turvy. What was black is white. It's crazy.
We failed our little boy. How could we?
Oh man, it's been a fun week for all the weird stuff in the news, though.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised. Like we've had, was it the world was supposed to end last week and everything that too? Another
it was
Bible code. Yeah.
How many times has a Bible code came out?
You know, I have to say I'm getting a little frustrated. I think we need to hold these people more accountable. I mean, every couple of years, somebody gets on and says the end of the world is coming. We all get prepared for it, and nothing happens.
It's such a letdown.
It is. It's like, if you're going to end the world, come on, get it over with already. Actually, do you remember, I forget when it was, I think it was somebody had predicted it was supposed to be the end of the world like 10 years ago or 5 years ago or something. And there were these stories going around where people like cashed out all their bonds. They like sold their homes believing that the world was going to end. And then it didn't happen. It's like, you idiot. Why did you cash your savings and sell your home? All because you thought the world was going to end. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's crazy. In my library, I bought like 2 books about how Christians should interpret the Y2K. And it says everything from bunkers, food. It was just crazy. Like, it is a perfect market. We should make our own. The Heathen Haven, End Time, Apocalypse, Divination Party, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. We're really good at getting things done. Like, we're still waiting on those Illuminati membership cards. Yeah, let's throw another thing onto the list of stuff we'll never do.
Survival kits. It's full of nothing.
Okay, we gotta face it. We're pagans. Pagans, we don't do shit. Okay, we're late to everything. We never follow up. We're just too scatterbrained.
We're all talk, no spells.
Exactly.
We might be able to get
no spells.
We might be able to get a food bucket endorsement. You know, to start pushing food buckets. So
we should sell our own Heathen Havens food buckets. Nothing but spaghetti.
Yes.
But we'll have one vegetarian bucket and then we'll have one meat bucket.
The vegetarian bucket is full of sadness and depression. AKA
no.
sand.
No, the vegetarian bucket will be nothing but spaghetti, but no meat.
Spaghetti and salt.
Yes, spaghetti.
That would do it.
Yeah, really.
Or spaghetti drowning in RC cola. That would count as vegetarian.
Yeah, I think RC cola would disintegrate spaghetti over time.
Probably. I'm pretty sure it's doing that to my liver and my stomach.
As well as doing it to your teeth.
I brush them. They're still here.
Have you ever put oh shoot, what is it? Shoot, what is it? There's an experiment you can do with Coca-Cola.
Mentos?
If it's a bone or a piece of calcium or something, I don't know exactly what it was, but you would put it into the Coca-Cola and the Coca-Cola will eat it. It will literally dissolve.
Yep.
So you can
chicken leg.
Chicken
I
leg.
did it with an old tooth.
Yeah.
One of my baby teeth, I put it in a thing and put Coke in it, well, Pepsi at the time, and I let it sit in the fridge, and then I brought it out, and the tooth was gone.
Wow. How long did that take?
It was about a week.
Okay.
Damn.
So Pepsi, Coke, any dark liquid soda is horrible for your teeth.
Yeah.
The light ones are a little bit better, but not by much.
Yeah.
It has acid.
I used to drink sodas and stuff like that, but I stopped doing that quite a while ago because you don't get anything from it, you know? I mean, you get sweetness, you get sugar, but like if you're thirsty, you should drink. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I mean, for myself,
yeah,
I prefer to drink water or something like that, you know?
For me, it's the caffeine keeps me awake, and it helps for that. And the caffeine helps against my migraines.
Oh, okay.
So I at least have one soda a day to help against migraines. If I'm starting to get a migraine, I will have. Normally, I'll have like a Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew Ice because that has less caffeine and junk in it. It's pretty much 7-Up with fucking caffeine in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, and sorry, I missed it earlier, Loki, but you had mentioned something about doing a video to help people create their characters. Did you have any timeline on that, or?
Hopefully it will be up by Wednesday.
Because I know you're going to be moving this month, right?
Yes.
Are you going to have time to do it?
I'll be packing stuff, so I'll have a lot more room in my area to do it. So I can do a brief overgo. I know where my giant hold-up sheets are, at least, and I know where my dice bag is.
Okay, all right.
Because I actually have huge printouts on that are laminated that I can write on with dry erase markers of the player sheets.
Okay.
Don't ask why. I just have them.
Okay. So maybe next month, you think, huh?
Next month should probably be a lot better. Around the end of the month at least, because that's, like I said, we're hoping to move either May or in the middle of June.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to have this all done before July, because nobody wants to do crap in July.
Why?
It's hot, even here.
Does it get hot in Washington?
The highest we have had, I think, was about a summer ago or two. I don't know. It was about 108.
Oh, that's pretty hot.
It can get pretty hot here, but it doesn't get anywhere close to what California constantly sits at.
Well, yeah, but I'm down here in the Bay Area, so we have our temperature never goes below a certain amount or over a certain amount.
Yeah, so you have that nice little spot.
Yeah.
We have bipolar weather that doesn't know if it wants to be sunny and bright or raining, or nice and warm all day, but then freezing 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday we had like plus 25 C here in Calgary, so muscle shirts and shorts, and then today it was like hardcore rain and frost. So
wow, you got all kinds of weird weather. Now, how far are you from Toronto, Dorian? Did you know? Did you hear about that truck attack that happened?
I heard about it. I'm about an 8-hour plane ride away from there.
Oh, okay. So you're very good. You're very far away from Toronto.
Yeah, but it made news all around here, and it was just crazy. I even posted stuff on Twitter about people downplaying it or claiming, "Oh, look how progressive the city is for not overreacting." Like, I don't know. That's what pissed me off more than the actual attack. Was people trying to make it a PC thing.
Now, did he? Because I don't know that much about him, particularly when he was arrested. But did he have a weapon? Did he have a gun or a knife or a machete or anything?
From what I heard, he had a weapon, but then he dropped it and surrendered. So,
oh, okay, yeah.
All damage was done with his vehicle.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing that pisses me off about these people when they climb up on a high horse and say, "Oh, police brutality, police brutality." It's like, and then they say, "Oh, well, certain people don't get, they don't get thrown to the ground and beat up and all this." It's like, yeah, because they cooperated with the police. They raised their hand, they dropped their weapon, they cooperated with the police. If you don't cooperate with the police and you resist, they have to put more restraint on you. And then if you resist that, they have to put more. So it turns into this back and forth, back and forth. So that's why people get, that's why police have to use excessive force, because people are using excessive resistance. And that's the one thing that pisses me off every time I hear some idiot prattling on about, "Oh, why is this guy getting why is this happening by the police?" It's like, because the guy's fucking resisting arrest.
Maybe if the guy didn't try to kill people with a van, he wouldn't get his ass kicked by a cop.
Well, that particular guy didn't get his ass kicked by the cops. Yeah. And I
would have kicked him.
Anyhow, let's see. So yeah, I mean, I've been arrested by the police a lot when I was younger, and for the most part, you just put your hands behind your back and they escort you, and they push the top of your head into the back of the patrol car. That's it. You go in, you sit, in their little holding cell for whatever time, and then maybe they release you later on. Maybe you go into court or whatever. If you resist arrest, they will throw you to the ground. They will force your arms back behind your back. They will cuff you and do the same thing. So you have the same outcome regardless. But now you have that outcome to happen. In addition, you have another charge of resisting arrest. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. And I see these people getting arrested, and I see them, pushing the cuffs away and shouting at the police and screaming at them and even spitting on them and all this stuff. And it's like, you're not making it any easier for yourself. Ridiculous. But anyhow. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll get into it. Let's see who's in the chat. We've got Zabora, Comedic Witchcraft is in the chat. Cassandra's in the chat. Aramia. I know she told me how to pronounce it. I think it was Aramia. And Travis. Hey, Travis. And Mark. Hey, Mark. How's it going? And yeah, looks like about it. So, all right. Well, since it's getting close to May Day, I thought we'd watch a video of our favorite friend, Mr. Bill Schnuffleupagus.
Oh. I go away for a week, you have fun, and then you make me come back to this.
I know. We're passively aggressively punishing you, Loki.
I should go get my furry head and put it on and just sit here and stare at the camera.
That would actually probably raise our viewership.
Probably.
We would get all the furries coming in here.
Oh, let's remember, according to Twitter, the new alt-right have a haven in the furry community. So a lot of the furries are actually alt-right members now. So, is there any group or any organization that is not somehow related to the alt-right?
Apparently not.
I mean, I can't.
They're hiding in our furry communities, in the gay community, in the gamer community. What else communities are they hiding in?
The vegan community.
Oh, man, we knew that.
Those damn alt-right vegans.
We flipping knew that one.
I think we should start our own alt center.
Alt center.
Control, Alt, Delete.
Yeah, there you go. No, actually, somebody invented that, and it was immediately it was immediately taken down. The Alt Control Delete. They immediately had to restart. But
The bad puns. The bad puns.
Hey, you started it.
I know. I'm known for my dad jokes. Give me a break.
But I do sometimes in chat rooms, whenever they start talking about the alt-right, I'll pipe up and say, "Oh, I'm the alt center. Come join me."
Pagan Republicans. Actually, I do know people who are Republicans that are pagan.
Oh yeah, I know plenty of Republican pagans.
I know Democrat ones. I know third-party ones.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly, I think for the most part, I think most pagans are like Green Party. Well, here in America, are Green Party and Democrats. I would assume. But there is a percentage of Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of views that I share with conservatives, but I wouldn't call myself a Republican. I've never registered as a Republican because there's a lot of things that Republicans support that I do not support, like namely, they're pro-life, they're for not having church and state being separate. They're very much so there's a lot of things that I'm not interested in supporting with Republicans, but there's some things that I do find in common with conservatives, like I'm trying to think of one. Now that I put myself out there, but there are some. Okay, immigration is one that I agree with Republicans on, because I think it's really unfair that, and I even tweeted about this earlier, that as an illegal immigrant, you can come into this country, and legal immigrants, you have to do a lot of work to get into this country. And when you are an illegal immigrant, you can be taken advantage of by your landlord, by the place you work at. You can have resistance to reporting to the police if you're a victim of a crime. Healthcare, you have obstacles to receiving healthcare because, well, you're not a legal citizen. So there are all kinds of very negative consequences of being an illegal immigrant in this country. And one of the main ones, which I think will become more important maybe later on, is oftentimes there are certain inoculations that U.S. citizens or even citizens of other countries will have, that if you are an illegal immigrant, the country that you are leaving might not have inoculated you against a certain disease. And you come into this country and you're not inoculated, you can spread the disease or fall prey to it. So there's a lot of very good reasons to not support illegal immigration, which I feel like Republicans and Democrats don't touch on. They just touch on the superficial, feelings part of it.
And I agree with that one. As long as I think it would be easier if people came in illegally because of those points, more so than the whole, well, they don't file taxes thing. That to me is superficial. As long as they're healthy, reporting crimes that are happening instead of hiding, I think that would be better than what we have now.
Yeah, I mean, paying taxes is, shit, there's legal citizens that don't pay taxes, or figure out some way to, write stuff off, like, speaking of Republicans, like Republicans are very good at, dodging taxes and, writing stuff off, like Mr. Trump,
Sadly, Mr. Willie Nelson was not one of those people smart enough to dodge taxes.
Yeah. But yeah, illegal immigrants, they still have to buy things. They still have to have a place to live. They still have to have a car. They still have to have food. They still have to, buy all the luxuries, that a citizen can have. But their thing is like, first of all, how are you going to buy a car if you are not a legal citizen? I guess you could walk into a dealership with cash, but you have to have a driver's license. That has to be right. It just creates so many headaches that I think people are just not aware of, that they should be aware of, But anyhow, we'll get off the political bandwagon before I start a flame war in the chat.
Somebody get the pinata stick and knock him off the soapbox.
Exactly. Smack me upside
sounded
my
horrible
head.
just then. I'm sorry.
Just aim for the ears because they're huge. You'll never miss. Hey, you laugh, but you know what, Dorian?
It's true.
You
That's what's
know
funny.
what they say about you, Dorian. You know what they say about guys with big ears, right?
They don't have much in between.
Big.
What did you say, Loki?
They don't have much in between those ears.
Oh,
Would you like some ice for that
man!
burn?
Somebody call a doctor. I just got burned. Ouch. All right. Okay, that's it. Thanks for the show. Good night, all.
Oh.
But anyhow, the answer to that question is they hear really well. All right. I've said that too many times. So,
You
all
have.
right.
That's when we come up with new comebacks.
Yeah, exactly. I liked your comeback, though. That was good. People with big ears, they don't have much in between.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's see. All right.
Let me just turn off my camera there for the video. Bing.
And I will do the same.
All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Am I presenting to everyone?
No.
I'm not. No. Okay, now I'm presenting to everyone.
Yes. And I shall mute myself until we're needed.
By Dr. Williams Noblin.
Yeah, and he's not a doctor.
I want to know where he got his doctorate at. I mean, did he go to the Art Institute or something?
He just slapped it in there one day.
Slap happy doctor.
If you go to his website and you go to his bio, it doesn't list where he got his doctorate degree.
Aha! I call shenanigans on him.
I mean, there's nothing that comes out of this man's mouth is true. So why should the history of his life be true?
Good point.
How's the sound? Can you hear it?
Yep, I can hear it.
I heard a trumpet.
Okay.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Williams Noblin coming to you with a brief but urgent prayer alert about the upcoming Satanic holiday.
All right, it's an urgent prayer alert, you guys. Be on guard.
I'm ready. I'm on my knees. Tell me what to do, Mr. Bill. Tell me what to do.
Oh, there's a sound bite for you. Oh man, I'm copying that.
Oh,
Loki, you better hope I never do another video to Bill because I'm going to use that clip.
Do it. Do it now. I'm okay with this.
Bill Schnoblin, Bill Schnoblin, so
do?
sexy, even lesbians want him.
Oh, ow, machine gun fire.
Bill Schnoblin is just swimming in the poontang. Even the carpet munchers want a bit.
Well, we just want that nice rug on his face. That's all we want.
Ah, that's what it is. It's the beard, huh?
All about the beard. I don't know why, because it's perfect to go down the toilet.
How come in this frame it looks like he's got no neck?
I don't know. It might be the color of his shirt or the fact that it blends in with his beard, or he might have lost his neck due to old age. All I know is every video he gets older and older and more depressed looking. And why does he have hipster glasses?
I don't know.
Which is once again upon us. This time it is
What the hell?
Beltane or Walpurgisnacht, as it's known in Northern Europe, which is on May 1st and October 30th, the night before. This is a major Wiccan holiday and Satanic holiday. And I just want to alert everybody, you need to be praying during this time because these are always perilous times because of the kind of dark energies that some of these groups try to invoke. And I want to preface this as always by clarifying that white witches, Wiccans, celebrate this holiday, but they don't do any kind of animal or human sacrifices, at least that I'm aware of. They just use it as a celebration of.
So I think this is a celebration that happens in Scotland every year around Beltane. And yes, I'm going to call it Beltane and not Beltane.
Which is fine. All I know is I want to go because that just looks pretty going there.
It honestly, it looks huge. It looks huge and it looks like a lot of fun. I'd love to go to it too.
Yeah. So I noticed something. People sit here and say, well, the white witches are just doing this for fun and they're not doing anything to hurt anyone. It's like, so you're saying it's okay if you consider them white witches to do this, but if you consider them dark and evil, define dark and evil. I mean, I wear totally all black, so does that make me dark and evil?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They just try to. I mean, this is my theory about this. So, Mr. Bill Schnoblin, this is nothing new. He's been doing this for like the past 30 years, speaking out against witches and pagans and a lot of these other usually extreme far right Christian people. Well, not far right, most of the evangelical Christian types often, you know, talk about witchcraft and the horrors of it, but a lot of people don't buy it. So what they have to do is they have to kind of like, you know, make it sound more horrible. And then people like Kirkulen and other people started standing up and saying, hey, wait a second, where's your proof for this? This isn't happening. We don't do this. And so they said, okay, well, only Satanists do it. And so then, and this was back in the 90s, Satanists were like, okay, give us proof. Who is doing this? Where are the police reports? Where is all this? Oh, well, it's not really the Church of Satan and those types. It's these unknown, you know, satanic groups, these supposed evil satanic groups that are doing this. So it's like what they do is they keep moving the goalpost because it keeps getting challenged. And so now they just make up these random evil groups that are supposedly running around committing, you know, animal and human sacrifice and doing these horrible things. But yet the police still have not managed to somehow break up this, you know, the satanic criminal ring yet, even though they've been operating supposedly for the past 20 years and killing everybody at least every, you know, high holy day that they believe. It's like, it's ridiculous.
If we've killed that many people in that much time, somebody would have fucking noticed by now.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. I mean, we'd have a body count. We'd be like a bigger terrorist group than half the terrorist groups out there. Yeah. But do you see that? No. We have no bodies. They have no proof.
Exactly. Yeah.
Of fertility and sexuality and the idea that the sun is coming back from the south and the fact that winter is over and that spring is in full bloom and so on. You know, it's, again, Wicca is at least pretends to be a agriculturally based fertility cult.
Yeah. Yes. People who practice Wicca, they're just pretending. They're pretending to be nice people. Yes. It's all a facade.
I was about to say, because if they're supposed to be pretending to be nice people, wow, you're such an asshole for one, Logan.
Well, yeah, but you don't really know the body count that I have in my basement.
I'm pretty sure it's really big if you had a basement. You live in California. You don't got a basement. You got an earthquake.
Yeah, that's true. But they have people have basements out here.
They do, but not in apartments.
No, not in apartments. But actually, we do have a basement here.
Well, okay, fine. You have a basement.
But that's about as far as I'm going to. It's about as far as I'm going to reveal. It's also soundproof, so.
Just like Comet Pizza.
Just like Comet Pizza, but without the comet.
However, the deeper implications of this are that Satanists also use this same calendar, and they kind of piggyback on it, and they use it. This is the other major holiday. The other one being, of course, Halloween or Samhain, which everybody knows that's on October 31st. But this is the other pole of the pagan.
Oh, wait, I gotta go back. So I noticed this. They spelled Samhain wrong. It's Samhain.
You're right, they did. Even I could probably spell it better than that.
Yeah.
And I suck at spelling.
Holiday. The other one being.
Oh, and also winter solstice.
Winter solstice?
Yeah, they got a solstice and a summer solstice.
Did they get a dyslexic monkey to write this? I mean, crap.
I'm not sure. Remember, he has his doctorate degree here, so he knows what he's talking about. So maybe we got it wrong.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
He even got solstice messed up on the summer one, and I think the one above that is spelled correctly. I just can't pronounce that word because I don't know if it's a word.
Yeah, Lunasa. Now that's how I pronounce it. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce it. Also, for clarification, so people know, most of the common terms that we use, like Samhain, Beltane, Lunasa, Imbolc, those come from Irish Gaelic, but there is Scottish Gaelic. There's also Welsh, Manx, maybe Cornish, that have ways of pronouncing holidays that are similar to these. So, you know, it's not just the Irish Gaelic pronunciation. There's other forms of pronunciation for some of these holidays. And I think, I could be mistaken, I think there's also a Breton, which is Breton, which is on the south the southwest coast of France, which also is part of the Godelic, the Q Godelic branch of Proto-Indo-European languages that probably pronounce some of these differently too. So if people have a different pronunciation for especially Samhain, Beltane, Lunasa, and Imbolc, chances are it's cultural. It comes from their neck of the woods.
And of course, Halloween or Samhain, which everybody knows that's on October 31st. But this is the other pole of the pagan calendar, of the Satanic calendar. And this is a very powerful, dark, dangerous night. One thing I want to mention before I get into the deeper aspects of this, we're calling for people to pray. And I'm going to talk more specifically about how to pray in a minute, but is that there are certain things that are associated with this night and this time of year that are pagan, even though some of them seem to be Christian. There's the idea of the Maypole dancing around.
I don't think there's anything Christian about May Day.
I don't think so either. I think it's just celebrating May and spring. I mean, I've never heard anything Christian about it.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, I know some Christian churches will celebrate in a celebration of it, but it's just to have fun and as a gathering for them, a small party, kind of like Cinco de Mayo is for those people.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any real major Catholic or Christian holiday that occurs around the same time that the May Day or Beltane would.
I'll Google it. Why not?
There is one for Germany and stuff like that, for Christianity being brought into Germany.
Oh yeah, but that's Walpurgis night. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's the only thing there for May Day. So.
Mm-hmm. But that's actually you can look that one up too. But that is that's actually a history of witches, or not a history of witches. Excuse me. That is based on a witch's hill. It was considered to be the witches' night. So it actually has a lot more to do with witchcraft than Catholicism. But I think you're right, Dorian.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know from being like raised Catholic and stuff like that, because we had to study all that kind of stuff in high school. So,
but yeah, definitely, I think Walpurgis night. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong too. I think it's like Walpurgis Nacht or something like that. But if people want to do a Google search on that, I mean, I think it's a really fascinating history behind it.
I found a few random things linked to it. I mean, depends on the country. From like in England, it's to celebrate the Queen.
The May Queen.
The May Queen, yes. Mm-hmm. And in the United Kingdom.
Is it a Catholic celebration?
Most of it shows. No, it doesn't. It's more of dancing and festivities and just dancing around the Maypole. There's not very much to do with anything. They do say in one of their little things in Scotland, God's waits their way to do the sound, but that's just part of a song.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Because yeah, because the only one I can think of is Walpurgisnacht. Dorian had mentioned, but again, I don't think it's as popular as All Saints Day. I'm just contrasting it with Samhain, for example.
Yeah, from what I can see is they do talk about the equivalent to it is the European began Christianizing the pagan holidays. Mm-hmm. And May Day changed into a popular solar celebration instead of being pagan, it was more of a solar thing. And what I can't pronounce was the only celebration for them in that, or crowning of the May Queen. Mm-hmm. The Roman Catholics observe it as May Day as the divine blessings to the Virgin Mary.
That's interesting.
That is about, and that's more to do with the Mother Mary and Jesus and all that instead of other things, and that's more Catholic. That's Roman Catholic. Mm-hmm. And that was just to integrate it into their celebrations so that people would pay attention to them.
Okay.
On the Maypole, I would hope that everybody understands that is a veiled phallic symbol.
Really?
I didn't know.
You see, anytime there is a long, skinny object, no matter what it is, it's a phallic symbol. You see your car's radio antenna? That's a giant dick right on your car.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, but what makes it even better is you're running around it with rainbows, so you're making it a gay dick. Congratulations. You made that the happiest dick in the world.
Well, you got to wrap it before you... Never mind.
Good point.
But I don't think
practice safety.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's all that veiled. I mean, I think people know exactly what it means. It's definitely a fertility symbol. It's a fertility celebration, and I don't know how some countries do it. But if you notice this picture right here, those are all women who are putting the garlands around, or grabbing the various ribbons. Yeah, various ribbons. And then I think somehow they call men into it, or men end up joining, but they join after this part.
Yeah.
So
they run around tying it, and then they let men join afterwards. But the first initial Passover, I think, are all female.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely a fertility symbol, but it's not veiled.
Yeah, there's no covering it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like a veiled reference of fertility as, for example, is the symbolic great rite. I think that's a veiled symbol, but even that is not all that veiled.
It's phallic worship, and for little children to be dancing around this giant representation.
Hey, look, there's Loki.
Wait, where?
Right there.
Shh! Don't tell them where I do in this summer. Damn. Wait, no, wrong hair color. My hair color is green now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Of the human phallus and garlanding it with flowers and ribbons or whatever, it looks very innocent. And I remember people were doing that.
It looks like a lot of fun.
I kind of want to go to the May Day celebration in Portland this year because I just want to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but I've never been to a May Day festival where they erected a pole.
I've only been to one.
Have you been to one?
Yeah, it was with the Coven group, and I was only to one of them with the May Day pole. So, I mean, I think it'd be cool to go to a big celebration with one or more and just have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Community when I was a little child, but it is pagan, and it does involve in the invocation of sexual feelings.
The invocation of sexual feelings. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Are we going to invoke your groins to want to feel like it needs laid? I don't know. That'd be an interesting spell to know. Let's invoke your groin. You want sex now.
So, for example, does the male invoke sexual, sexual feelings, and then the female, evokes sexual?
The female has a headache for the night.
In some cases, prematurely for children, and you don't want that. So, and plus, we're just not supposed to keep the feasts of the pagans. I mean, the scriptures tell us that. So, that's number one.
Yeah, but that actually means the Gentiles, the people who were the non-Hebrews, the non-Jews. Most of the time, especially in the Old Testament, when they're talking about the other people, the heathens, and I don't even think it ever says pagans. I think it does say heathens or the other people or the Gentiles, but it means those people who are not, not Jewish, not Christian. But that's what it means. It doesn't mean the actual, future neo-pagan groups that meet in the 21st century. That's not what the Bible was referring to.
The other thing about this holiday, which is more recent, is its strong association with communism.
Whoa, what?
With communism.
How is it linked to communism?
That is a very good question. I gotta see if I can find any information about that.
I mean, I want to know what is making him make this jump so drastically.
Because May Day is considered to be a Labor Day.
Oh. So
somehow that's connected to communism. But yeah, he's gonna make the connection for us here. But yeah, God. That's what I thought too when I heard this for the very first time. Loki, what the fuck?
I remember this, but at one point in the Soviet Union, before it fell a quarter century ago, they would have May Day celebrations every year, and May Day was like the feast of the workers, quote unquote, the communist revolution, and all of that. And why is that spiritually significant? Well, aside from the fact that most people understand that communism is atheistic,
communism is not atheistic. I think the predominant church, and since we're using Russia as the reference, I think is the Russian Orthodox Church. I could be wrong, but the majority of Russians are Catholic or Christian.
It hates, anything having to do with Christianity or religion of any kind. But beyond that, paradoxically, the early founders of communism, like Karl Marx and Lenin, and probably Stalin, were all Satanists.
No, I think they might have been atheists, but not Satanists. I know that much. I know that Stalin didn't quite care for organized religion, I believe. It was one of those that didn't. I don't remember which.
Yeah, I think it was Karl Marx who wasn't really too excited about Christianity. But yeah, or religion, period. But yeah, it doesn't make them Satanists. And there's never been any connection to Satanism and Karl Marx. Although, I mean, I did this video before, so he tries to make the connection with this one guy's book, and this guy who wrote that book is a fucking idiot.
Marx was, for certain, Karl Marx was an avowed Satanist. And this is documented in a book by Richard Verma, the famous man who started the Voice of the Martyrs, who was tortured for his faith.
Yeah, but Richard, that guy is a Christian, and he has nothing to base it on. He just makes the claim. He doesn't really have any hard evidence for it. He just says that Karl Marx was a Satanist
in Eastern Europe many years ago, and he knew firsthand that just the profound satanic evil of communism, and all of this crystallized on this night. And so this is being done, you know, and to the extent that even the Catholic Church, in trying to be socially trendy, many, many years ago, started a feast of St. Joseph the Worker at this time. And, you know, there's May crownings that go on in the Catholic Church where they have a little girl is selected and she's dressed up like a little bride and flowers and everything. And she goes and she puts a little crown.
Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, I went to Catholic church for many a year, and I've never seen any of this stuff done at my church and stuff like that. When I went, I don't know, like maybe it's select places in Europe that do this, but I've never seen it done in North America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know specifically, but there's a lot of traditions that happen in Europe, in England, for example, that the church does that you don't see here in America. Same thing as if you go to Brazil or Spain or Germany. There are cultural celebrations for different churches. But yeah, I don't know if all churches would celebrate it, but there's just no interest in it. Or if it is like a specifically, you know, cultural or nationalistic thing where it only happens in certain countries.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've never heard of St. Joseph the Worker or this thing that, you know, this person putting the garlands on because that's a statue right there, putting the flowers on Mother Mary or the statue of Mary. I assume maybe crowning her the May Queen, which would be interesting because, for example, like Loki had touched on earlier, there are celebrations where they pick usually a young female who is the May Queen. So if they are choosing Mother Mary as the May Queen, that would be sort of a veiled symbolic representation that the church holds the spiritual power and not the older pagan May Day rite holds the power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of subverting it. It's kind of like the story that maybe some people are familiar with where St. Patrick in Ireland went to the top of the hill of Tara and started the fire, the very first Beltane fire on not the hill of Tara. It was a Druid hill. I can't remember the name of the Druid hill, but he started the fire that was supposed to be, because in the tradition of Beltane, the king starts the very first fire, and then from that fire, other fires were lit in Ireland. And the Druids usually started that fire. And so St. Patrick, what he did, supposedly how the story goes, is he started that very first fire, subverting the Druids and sort of, replacing Christianity, replacing paganism with Christianity that way. I mean, that's a story. I don't know if it actually happened, but it's kind of like along those lines.
Well, I put the link in both the group the chat on the video and the chat on our talking of the information I did find. Yes, it's Wikipedia, so sue me, but it's probably a lot more accurate than other ones that I have found, which after Googling it, I'm like, holy crap, I think Bill runs half of these websites. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, Wikipedia is okay. You just got to check those links. That's all.
On the head of the statue of the Virgin Mary. And this is, of course, idolatry. However innocent it might seem, it's idolatry. And we just advise people to flee these things, whether it's May crownings or Maypoles or obviously communism. Understand that there's just some very, very dark energies during this time, even though its PR is a lot less sinister than Halloween. It's still a time where we really need to pray. Now, the other thing to understand is that in the Northern European countries, as I mentioned, This is called Walpurgisnacht, which means the night of Saint Walpurga. And this is some obscure, saint who's acquired a very sinister reputation among both witches and Satanists. And this night, it is required by the evil one to have a sacrifice.
No, that's the guy from one of the Disney movies. I think that's the guy from Fantasia.
Yes.
Bill, I think you're higher than half of us watching this. If you're using Disney imagery, I mean, I'm not high enough for you, Mr. Noblin. Shit.
Well, I don't think anyone is high enough for Williams Noblin.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody is that high. But he has to twist it somehow to make it sound negative. I mean, come on.
Oh, man. But a cartoon character who ends up being defeated by the light? Come on. And actually, I love Fantasia. Fantasia is beautiful. And I actually like the last segment where the demon's in it. That's actually one of my favorite ones because of how it's done.
Yeah, definitely one of Disney's best films.
Oh, yeah.
Woman between the ages of 1 and 25. So that is what they need to do to please their evil master.
I gotta back that up. Okay, who's hanging on their microphone?
Among both witches and Satanists. And this night, it is required by the evil one to have a sacrifice of a human woman.
Really? So on this night, apparently Satanists go out and sacrifice a young woman on this night.
I did not know this.
Yes.
Well, shit, I'm glad I'm not young.
So I guess he's just going to see. This is the other thing that gets me about a lot of these Christian groups is they will make such a slanderous statement without any shred of truth and no evidence whatsoever. And they just throw it out there and never, ever support it with anything.
Yeah, but if we say this shit, we get sued.
What would we say, though?
Christians murder their children and drown them in pools of water.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think we would be. I mean, it would be. Yeah, I agree with you, but yeah, it's just weird.
Between the ages of 1 and 25. So that is what they need to do to please their evil master, Satan. What is they sacrifice a young woman or a female child,
and then this is a movie
on this night. So we advise people to please, be careful with their female children, their daughters. Please keep an eye on them because this stuff is real and it's happening, and you need to pray for them.
So he just said it's real and it's happening.
I would like him to show me the proof. I'd like to see the police reports. I'd like to see the bodies. I'd like to see the psychopaths doing this. I would really like to actually freaking witness this.
Yes.
Because then I'd go to the police and say, Mr. Schnoblin was actually right for once in his old toilet paper, wrinkly face, bearded life.
Oh, man, if he was ever right, we would never, ever hear the end of it. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they ever did, like, let's say, find some kind of ring of Satanists who were actually murdering people? You would never hear the end of it.
I would become a Christian if they ever proved him right on any of these accusations. I would become a full-out, born-again Christian if he's ever proven right about any of these.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, we'll mention that a little more at the end. But the other thing to understand is that just like in Christianity or in Judaism or in most religions, there are different flavors of Satanism and some forms of hardcore Satanism.
See, this is where he has to move the goalpost because the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple and the Temple of Set are not involved in any of this. So what he has to do is he has to move the goalpost back and say, oh, it's hardcore Satanists. What the hell are hardcore Satanists?
I don't know. Are they the same as the hardcore metalheads that can do like the headbanging thing for hours straight and not pass out of blood loss? I don't know. Apparently there's levels of paganism and Satanism. I wonder what the hardcore Christians really are. I really want to know. Are they the ones that walk around and go, Jesus is my thug? Or are those like the hardcore Christians that rap about Christ? I don't know. Maybe he'll inform us.
The Church of Satan and these various other legal satanic groups claim, oh, we don't do any of this. This is all made up. But, you know, there are underground satanic groups that are doing this and have been doing it for at least several centuries.
How do you know that? What proof do you have? What? I mean, even if he had like, I mean, something, you know. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've become so jaded to these personal stories that I hear from people. You know, like you know, you'll come across these videos of these people who claim that they were involved in some kind of a satanic cult, but they never took it to the police. There were no arrests made. It's like, you know, it's I want to believe people. Like if you told me something, Loki, that was really unusual, I would probably believe it just because, you know, I know you and I trust you and you're probably telling the truth. But a lot of these random people on YouTube, they get up here and they say these outrageous things without any evidence. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't fucking believe you. You know?
You just gave me an out to tell you that I see fairies dancing around your head. I'm kidding, I don't. I really seriously don't. I don't. I'm just being a smart ass.
Well, that's okay. I see fairies dancing around my head all the time, but usually only when I hit it really hard.
Yeah, that would probably do it.
Yeah. But like, okay, for example, like let's say I came on the Heathen Haven. I told you guys one night that I was abducted by a UFO, and I went and had, you know, dinner with the president of the United States and then was flown to Paris and had a party and came back here. I mean, would you believe me?
I would wonder if you got off your psych medication or if we need to call somebody immediately. I would be very concerned for your mental state.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like these an outrageous claim needs support, you know? Like if Dorian said that he went out and he saw, you know, something that he doesn't know what it was, maybe it was a UFO, I would probably go, oh yeah, okay, that sounds about right. But then if he told me, oh no, I was abducted by aliens and all this other crazy stuff happened, I'd be like, okay, that's interesting. You know.
I mean, I've seen mysterious lights and all that kind of thing. Who hasn't? But to say you have a point. Like there's believable, and then there's Noblin.
Right. Exactly.
There's degrees of maybe some of these claims might be believable, or somebody astral projecting or having a weird dream, or really weird sleepwalking events. Mm-hmm. But then there's oh no, this is a matter of fact. Those are the ones that I'm a little bit more skeptical of in life when you're like, oh no, this is all 100% fact.
Yeah.
Some of them believe that this is the night when they have to take very young baby girls and literally boil them. And then
boil?
Yes.
Oh, man. It's a spit roast, you know, you got just like you do a pig and stuff like that.
There was much better ways to cook women and little girls than boiling them. That takes all the flavor out of them. Come on. They don't have much fat to begin with, so you're going to make it tough and hard to eat. Shit. Do you know anything about cooking?
I'm really disturbed that you know so much about that, Loki.
You should be.
I'm really concerned. Where is Soren?
Asleep because fibromyalgia? Hope they buy
I don't
that.
know. I'm gonna have to see some proof for that, Loki.
I can go take a picture, but I can't post it on here because it's not exactly G-rated.
Am I gonna have to call Protective Services?
Yeah, they have work tomorrow, and I kind of need their income, so therefore they have to stay alive.
At least for now, right?
For now.
On this night to please their master, the evil one. So,
The Disney one.
Yes.
It's a night of incredible darkness, and we really need to pray because these dark forces are flooding our land.
All right, damn it, Bill. Can you get into the center of the fucking frame?
I'm trying to figure out what the hell is that picture behind him. Is that somebody blowing a really weird looking horn?
Yeah.
Or it could be somebody smoking a really weird looking pipe.
Yeah, actually, you know that horn that you heard at the beginning of this video?
Oh God.
That's a recording of that horn being blown. I think it's a type of ram's horn. I think.
Huh. All I know is it looks really funky.
Yeah, I mean it seems awfully long for a ram's horn, but I think it is a horn of a type of animal. I thought it was a ram's horn, but maybe I could be mistaken. Maybe somebody can look it up in the chat for us, and we'll find out.
And of course, the Satanists in particular believe that by doing these things, they can push back the forces of light, the forces of biblical faith, the forces of Yahushua. And
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Ground in this country haven't gained already plenty of ground.
Oh no, he didn't pause it.
I think he thought he paused it, and it unpaused when he did that. So we can just do bad lip reading. I am Bill Noblin. I have no clue what I'm talking about. And if you people believe me, well, let me continue blowing the smoke up your ass. Hey, look, he paused it. Damn, I was having fun.
Sorry, I just realized I had paused it.
I was having fun.
I mean, not paused it, but I muted my mic, so you guys didn't hear any of that. Sorry. I smelled something burning, and I just wanted to make sure I turned the sauce off that I had on the stove.
Oh, you were boiling children again.
Yep, exactly. But it's not me.
Flavored Satanism and some forms of hardcore Satanism, and of course the Church of Satan and these various other legal satanic groups claim, oh, we don't do any of this. This is all made up. But
yes, it is all made up. It's made up by idiots like you, who, for whatever twisted narcissistic reasons, you want to be the center of attention by claiming that some evil satanic organization is running around boiling virgins for Walpurgis night.
There are underground satanic groups that are doing this and have been doing it for at least several centuries.
How the fuck do you know that, you stupid, four-eyed, freaky-ass looking, goat-bearded idiot?
It's okay, Logan. He won't hurt you. He's just an imaginary man on YouTube with more hair on his beard than you have on your head.
Yes, but that's the problem. He's not imaginary. I wish he was imaginary.
I think Grandpa's off his meds again. I'm kidding. We all wish he was imaginary.
Yeah, really.
Some of them believe that this is the night when they have to take very young baby girls and literally boil them and then eat them on this night to please their master, the evil one. So this is a night of incredible darkness, and we really need to pray because, these dark forces are flooding our land. And of course, the Satanists in particular believe that by doing these things, they can push back the forces of light, the forces of biblical faith, the forces of Yahushua. and gain more and more ground in this country as if they haven't dropped.
This is hilarious. Okay, if dark magicians actually believe the Bible to be true, then they wouldn't be practicing dark magic. They would know that they're about to lose no matter what, and that there would be eternal hellfire. It makes no sense to believe that you're going to go and be tortured for the rest of your life. Oh.
I know, none of it makes any fucking sense. This is what gets me. It's like first of all, there's no evidence. There's no evidence to support any of this. They have to twist and find, obscure references to, like, John Ramirez or not, or some kind of idiotic, kids burning something, in the name of Satan, or doing all these weird, stupid things. But there's no actual cult of Satanists running around doing all these things around these holidays. It's just so absurd. It's just so ridiculous. And I agree with you. And it's like, if you did do this, it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to, further, if you actually believed in Satan, so you're actually like doing this for Satan, if that's the truth, then yeah, you're going to burn in hell, because if you believe that Satan exists, then God exists. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
The media, in the political scene, in the academic scene, but that's another talk. The point is, we need to pray against this. We need to stand against it. And as we say, always pray for your children, particularly if you have daughters. Pray for the children of your community who may not have anybody to pray for them. And we have on our website for free download a prayer to pray in dark seasons.
Can you pause it?
Yeah.
It just reminded me of a joke. It's just like, don't let your virgin daughters be sacrificed to Satan. Send them my way.
Right, exactly. Well, you won't have to worry about your daughter getting sacrificed for being a virgin. That's for sure.
Oh, lucky them. It's a 2 for 1.
Really? See, that's what it is. That's what the secret Satanists, that's what their actual goal is. They just want to spread this fear so people don't want to have virgin daughters, so that the Satanists can hook up with them and deflower them.
Exactly.
Yep, it's all a conspiracy.
I mean, I'm wondering, the whole, putting the mentality of fear for your daughter all the time. Never let her out of your sight. It's pretty much what he's saying. Your daughter should have no freedom, but do whatever with your son. Pretty much, because all you ever hear him is, they're always going after young girls. Girls. Always the girls. Apparently, evil people and Satanists don't want anything to do with boys. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Dark seasons, one of the 8.
Well, I think one of the reasons why they do that is because females hold a slightly higher status in our society. And the reason why I say that is because, first of all, women produce life. Women aren't really muscular. They're not really built for battle. They're built for childbirth, which a man can't do. But there's also a certain level of innocence that is given, especially to like young virgin girls or your young girls who are unmarried. And so there's a little more, they're treated with a little more kids' gloves than boys. Boys are, they're first of all, they're a dime a dozen. They've always been expendable. When you charge the beaches in Normandy, the people up in the front are the ones who are going to get taken out, and people know that. They're pawns. They are expendable. They're not worth anything. They're basically just to collect the bullets for the people who are following up in the back. So sorry, women, if I offend you, but that's the truth of the matter is women are given a little more special status than men in our society.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they look at women as if we're some of them look at women as if we're meek, scared creatures that need to be protected.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Even if nowadays not all of us are that way, but it's still a stigma that they look at women that way, even though it may not be that way. Like, I could probably kick Dorian's ass without trying, but
challenge accepted.
Oh, come on, Loki. We all know that Dorian could outrun you.
He has to stop sometime.
I'm getting picked on, man. I'm gonna go to HR now.
I know.
We have HR? Right, I run the HR department. Hi, Dorian. How can I help you?
Loki's the director of human resources, so you're pretty much
Oh, we are fucked up. But I 100% agree that women are held on a different pedestal, and men are seen as just either dogs or pawns or disposable. And it's, in a way, it's very, very sad, because nobody should be seen as disposable. Nobody should be seen as meek or weak. We should all be seen as people all the same, but hell, that isn't going to happen anytime soon, and we all know it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a natural order of things, because you can have, like, let's say you have 10 females and 1 male. Only a male can mate with 1 female. So that kind of, that's where was I going with this? I completely lost my train of thought.
You only need 1 guy to get a bunch of girls pregnant for reproduction.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you have a whole bunch of men and only 1 woman, it's the same thing, So, but it's easier. I completely forgot where I was going with this. I was trying to make a point that it's easier for
a society of mostly women to succeed, where a society mostly of men will not, because of the fact that men can be you just need them for one thing. You can toss them aside if you're a woman, but if you're a man, you kind of need a woman there to have the child, and they can only have 1 at a time, where you can father multiple children in one go.
Right. Yes. Yes. Essentially, essentially that was what I was getting at. Yes. Exactly. Thank you.
I knew what you were trying to explain.
Yeah, my brain just wasn't cooperating. It does that every so often.
You're looking at Bill's face, so I don't blame you.
I'm being mesmerized by his 3/4 gap between the top of his head and the top of my screen.
That is so erotic. Oh my God.
It's like 2/3 of his head is in frame, and only 1. It's like, can you just move your camera down like maybe 2 inches? You center yourself in frame.
A little less forehead, sir. A little less forehead.
Yeah, really. He's got forehead for days.
I think he could put an ad on his forehead for YouTube. I think I think YouTube is missing out on great possibilities here. I mean, the ad space is right there.
Festivals of witchcraft and Satanism. So please, brethren, join with us in prayer over the period of the 30th, the evening of the 30th, and the day of May 1st, which is coming up in about 3 days. We exhort you to do this and take up the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, and the rest of the armor, and go forth and pray for your family, pray for your community, pray for your nation, because you can believe me, these evil people are doing what they're doing with great zeal and great dedication, including fasting and taking the energy from that and trying to direct it toward the destruction of scriptural values in this nation and the world. So we need to take the battle and declare victory in the name of Yahushua HaMoshiach. Please join us in praying on this night. Thank you very much. We pray that this has been an informative, brief YouTube video. If you like these sort of things, please share it. Please subscribe.
All right. Well, that's the end of that. I'm not going to play the rest of all that.
I mean, I want to know, in what world does fasting make you stronger? Because I remember anytime I fasted, I was just hungry and tired.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's different cultures that have like, believe that if you're put into an altered state somehow, that it makes you more connected with divinity. Like maybe, not sleeping for a certain amount of time, or not eating for a certain amount of time, fasting, or only drinking water, or, there's any kind of an altered state often gets somehow mixed up with the idea of connecting with, the spirit world or divinity or whatever, it's interesting.
It is kind of interesting on that fact. I will say that much, because you never know with anything. I mean, take away my sleep or my food or my water, and I'm just a bitch.
Yeah, really.
I'm not gonna lie there. I mean, take my stuff away from me, I'm a bitch. Don't you dare take my Oreos. I'll murder you. That needs to be a new logo. Loki will murder you if you touch their Oreos.
Yes. That is, yes. Do not touch anyone's Oreos. Let's see. Am I presenting? I don't have to present to everyone anymore. So that video. Am I presenting, or did I stop presenting?
You're not presenting.
Okay.
You're good.
You're good, man.
All right, good. Somebody sent me a message. Oh, you put it in our chat.
And I also put it in the group chat.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's so ridiculous. It's like there's a certain level of narcissism in this, because it's like, I don't think Christians are doing anything against me, or against any pagans. I don't have that sense that somehow they're doing anything against me. But for some reason, they have this concept that somehow we're doing stuff to try and corrupt the world of God or the Bible or something. I've never understood that.
I never have either, and it's one of those things of, they purposely say that the evil people will say they don't believe in the Bible, and they just prove it, and that's why they're evil. They're here to be evil and say that it's a lie. They're supposed to trick you. And all I can think is, I can put in the Harry Potter or any other thing that in the description, if people say this is fake, they're trying to trick you, this is all 100% real, doesn't mean it's true. And it's just one of their ploys of, just because you're a quote-unquote pagan or something that's not like them, you are
so there's a person in the chat, Win Worley, who's causing problems. They say we all need deliverance.
Okay.
Just got hotter for you, witch.
Oh, he doesn't really like me.
I the true God and your worship. Hey, Win, do you want to come on the show and explain yourself, or do you want to get blocked? Do we want to invite a Christian into our group? We could sacrifice him to Satan.
Maybe. All I know is I just clicked on his YouTube page, and he has nothing on there. No subscribers.
Oh yeah, that's not a surprise. It's really funny. Some people who talk the most shit don't make a single video. It always happens. Every time I get like a comment from somebody like, "Oh, you'll never be saved. You'll never go to heaven," or blah, 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 all this other stuff. I go and I look at their web page, and there's nothing there. But whereas if I see somebody who posts something like, "Hey, came across your channel, really like your content," or whatever, and I'll go and I'll click on their channel, they actually make content. So, all right, Win, you've got to give me an answer pretty soon, because I'm not going to let you just hang out in here a bunch of. Oh my God, he called us a bunch of cucks. I don't know if I can recover from that.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. I don't think I can recover from that. That's a pretty it's a pretty harsh insult there.
You know what's the really sad part about all this, though, man? I never get attention. You guys get all the attention. Like, I'm here with my ass in the wind, nothing. You guys are just there doing your own thing. You get all the attention. It's not fair. I think it's your extra privilege I don't have. So
yeah, exactly. It's our pagan privilege. Well, he retracted his message. Maybe he feels bad.
Oh.
Poor guy.
Well, let's see. I am putting him in timeout, though, because I'm kind of sick of seeing his crap. So if I put him in...
he called you a sodomite reprobate. Reprobate? Reprobate?
Oh, wow! I've never felt so not insulted in my life! Learn to spell! Shit, I'm a bad speller, but I at least look up the words I'm trying to spell when I'm insulting people.
Oh, you put him on a... Oh, okay, all right. Well, whatever.
He's on mute for right now.
Well, I was gonna invite him on, and if he wanted to join us, we could talk to him, and if not, I was just gonna delete him.
Well, I can always take him off mute, I think. Oh, he's on timeout right now. He's not completely removed. He's just on timeout for 300 seconds, which is about 5 minutes ish. So.
Well, anyhow, I'm gonna put my Twitter handle in the chat. And if you want to send me a tweet message, we'll invite you on the show. If not, awesome. I'm just going to say that you're welcome to hang out here, but if you insult any of my viewers or our viewers, we'll delete you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And if you harass any of us, you won't. If you go to anybody's channel on here and harass them, you probably won't like the reports that are going to be made on you. Because harassment is wrong, and you should never do it to anyone.
Especially if you're not original about it.
Exactly. I have been called a lot of other things. And Loki is not a Marvel character. He originally the god of mischief and fire. He is a Nordic god. Marvel just uses his likeness and other things about it in their comics. So do DC. They use other mythical heroes as well. So it's
like Cersei.
They can use them anywhere. Yeah. Hercules.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder how many people really understand that like Thor and Loki and Odin are from Norse mythology and Marvel didn't create those characters. I wonder if there's people out there that stupid who believe that.
There are people out there that stupid, actually. I've encountered a few of them like, well, they're not real gods. I mean, they're cartoon characters or comic book characters. They didn't really exist. I'm like, really? You just sounded like the world's biggest dumbass right there. I mean, the level of stupidity I've seen from people when it comes to this, that they're like, oh, they're just made up fictional characters in the comic book, like Captain America. Their personalities in the comics are made up, but it's loosely based on what they think they might have acted like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it's really interesting when Stan Lee and I forget the other people's names, but I mean, Marvel Comics struggled for a very long time. I mean, they almost went under.
Jack Kirby
really
and all them.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby.
Yeah, Jack Kirby. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, they really struggled for a long time to stay afloat. And then, like, I don't know, maybe in the early 90s, comic books really caught on. And people were really into comics. And I think then Marvel and DC really took off. But before that, they were really struggling to put out comics and shit. When I was getting comics, they were like 25 and 35 cents.
Yeah.
And they were cheap.
Now you have to pay at least $3-4 for one, if not $5 or $30 for the hardback compilation of all of them.
Do they still sell like comic books?
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
They still sell the original like paper comics and stuff like that. They still sell those. Those normally go from $2 to $3, depending on the issue, depending on what it is, depending on it depends on the series. I mean, you could also find some that go for $5-10 a copy because it's hard to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. I mean, I have some comic books which are kind of in the nice actual book form that's a lot bigger than the normal small paper comics that I paid $15 for.
Wow.
Or thick. I actually have Captain America: Man Out of Time, which I got for the first Captain America movie, signed by one of the artists.
Mm-hmm.
I got that actually at a screening, but I looked it up and I could probably sell that for $400 or $500 if I wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm not that desperate yet, but I mean, there is so many different things with comics now compared to what they used to be even when I was younger. Because even when I was a kid, I don't think I paid more than 50 cents for a comic book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had Iron Man was one of my favorites, Spider-Man, Hulk, Black Panther also. I was really into Black Panther. I loved Black Panther. And then I got into the Avengers too, because a lot of those characters were Avengers, and Thor I liked. There was Daredevil I liked too. But there were a lot of comics that just didn't make it. One of them was called The Human Fly. And so I got The Human Fly 1, and I think I got it up. I think they made maybe 3 or 4 comics called The Human Fly, and then they just dropped them because it just wasn't selling. But there are some comics that just really didn't catch on. Like Luke Cage was one that was not real big.
Which is sad because when he's with the Defenders, it's one of those ones that everybody loves when he's with the Defenders. But for Solo, for the longest of time, it didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist. Mm-hmm.
He didn't do very well until he was put in with the Defenders, and that was, I think, mostly they were on the shoulders of Daredevil at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it does in the end show you that sometimes one comic can't stand alone unless it has help from others.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I really kind of got lost in whenever they had like the Avengers, like they had all these people fighting at the same time. I mean, it's kind of interesting, but you also kind of lost a little bit to the story. Whereas, for example, like Spider-Man or Hulk or Thor or Black Panther or Iron Man, you could kind of follow the story along, and it was interesting. But the mashups, the story kind of went off to the side, and it became all about the threat that they all have to join together. And then you get these stupid interactions between the Scarlet Witch and Vision, and
I mean, sometimes they did do good stories, but they focus more on the fighting aspect with some of them. There's some nowadays where it's pretty much they don't really focus on the fighting and they focus on the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like with things like with the X-Men, like M-Day and other things like that. I mean, some of the older X-Men comics were really hard to follow, like you said. And it's just because you get so many characters and doing one thing, you don't know who's doing what, who's going to kick the bucket, who's not going to kick the bucket, who they're going to come back in the next issue. Because it's Marvel, no one stays dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
DC is really bad for that too, though. Like, how many times has Batman and Superman died and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they called alternate realities, and even in the cinematic world, I think it's already been dropped twice because of Doctor Strange about different times, different realities, and different things is going to play a part in a lot of alternate universes. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many alternate universes in comics because honestly, everything is, well, you can do anything in any universe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. All right. Well, let's see. We got one other video here. Where is it? There it is. Okay.
Well, speaking of comics, have either of you guys went and saw the new movie yet?
Nope.
No, I haven't seen it yet. Have you?
I've had it spoiled for me, which I'm okay with because I like spoilers. And it makes me know that I need to go pretty freaking tanked or get drunk while I'm watching it.
Why?
From everything I've been told, within the first 10 minutes, certain people die that will make you cry because of how they died. It is a very emotionally roller coasting movie when it comes to it.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna wait for. I don't know. I might go and see it, but I'll probably wait till the hype kind of goes down a little bit, because I hate going to a movie theater where a movie just first comes out and you get all these idiots in there. I prefer to kind of like go in there when the movie theaters aren't too crowded. Like, all right, I'm that guy who goes on a Sunday during the day and watches movies. I'm that guy.
I'm the person that goes where all the kids are at school.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because the good thing about going, first of all, one of the best things about going during the day is it's cheaper, and the movie theater is empty. Nobody goes and sees a movie on Sunday during the day or Monday during the day.
Nope.
Yeah. So, but if you go like on Friday night or Saturday night, you walk in, it's like, it's packed. And I always get some idiot in front of me who's like on his phone texting with his buddy, and it's like, oh shit.
This is why I go to Cinetopia and pay for the skybox where there's no children allowed. They will serve you food and alcohol to your chair. You don't even have to move unless you have to go to the bathroom.
What? Where is this? What is that place called?
Cinetopia.
And where is that? Is it like a national chain, or is it like something they only have in Washington?
I know we have them in Washington and parts of Oregon. I don't know how far down it goes. But they're really great theaters to be in. And granted, the skyboxes, you're up above you're up in the back, right where the greatest sound is at. And right below you, off that balcony, is everyone else. But they're low enough to where you can look down and go, haha, peasants, I can throw things at you. And you can't do anything. But it's nice. They also have living room areas where you can rent out for you and your entire friends and family and just chill out on sofas and watch the movie. And there's a lot of good Cinetopia, the best waste of money in theater, the best waste of your money if you're going to the theater, because they have gourmet mac and cheese.
Nice.
And gourmet nachos.
Nice.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into this because we only got 20 minutes left here. We'll see what we can. We're not going to be able to see the whole movie, but or excuse me, the whole video. But let me see. Ooh, this one's actually a little shorter one. Let's watch this one instead.
Okay.
This is good. This is our good old friend Pat Robertson.
Oh, why these guys?
All right, what the hell am I doing? Okay. Let me see. Do you see it?
Yep.
I see. Okay, you need to present to everyone.
Yeah, I'm not presenting to everyone.
Now you are.
Now I am. Oops, wrong one. Look at my naughty Twitter. Damn it. There we go.
That recently moved into my neighborhood claims to be Wiccan. I've heard from my son some of the things their daughter told him, and it really kind of frightened me to hear about spells and other concepts I've never heard of in the Bible. Should I let my son be friends with their daughter? Should I try to be friends with the family? I'm so unsure. What is the Christian thing to do, Pat?
So I'm just going to say, what the hell is this? Oh, never mind. I'm going to hold my tongue for a second.
That's from Jesus Camp right there.
Huh?
This is from the documentary Jesus Camp right here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting because what they did was they used a clip from the 700 Club, and then they put in this clip from Jesus Camp. So these two clips are unrelated.
Should I try to be friends with the family? I'm so unsure. What is the Christian thing to do, Pat?
Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
Wow. Could you imagine if we got up on YouTube or went into some auditorium talking about how horrible Christians are and how, you know, how if Pat Robertson was alive today, he would be murdered. All this awful. Could you imagine if pagans did this?
It would be an outcry.
Yeah, I mean, it would be horrible, you know. But Christians allow other Christians to act like this. It's unbelievable. And that little kid's like, but I like Harry Potter.
Why did you drag me to this, Mommy? Why? You don't love me anymore. Screw it. I want to go to Hogwarts now even more. Just to spite you.
You don't make heroes out of warlocks.
So that was weird. I don't know why that clip was in there.
Because, you know, you look at the Old Testament and it says you don't intermarry with them. You don't give your sons to their daughters or their daughters to your sons. Their sons, they'll corrupt you.
What about their sons to their sons and their daughters to their daughters?
And, you know, these people.
Oh, you know what? Actually, maybe that's okay.
You know, they say as well as white. These are white witches versus black witches.
White.
There's no such thing as good witch.
Okay, so yeah, so I don't know. This person apparently decided to just get a couple of clips and put them together for whatever reason.
I am alive. It's my curse. That and you too. Get off me, you thundering oaf. Sorry. Look, the candle's almost out. And my potion, my beautiful potion. Look, there's just enough left for one child. Get off.
I have no idea what this is from either, but holy cow, it's weird acting.
It's from what was it called?
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. Thank you. And
It's a Disney movie.
Okay, and that is the lady on the right. That's Sarah Jessica Parker, right?
Sarah Jessica Parker and Beth Midler, and I don't remember the other lady's name. I feel horrible for that.
Yeah. Sarah Jessica Parker actually looks good like that.
Yeah.
We have a child. Here. And look, Winnie, more children are arriving. Come on in. Winnie, we'll make more potion because, Winnie, we have the money. We have the time. Besides, I want to get that little rat-faced kid that called me. Oh, don't say it, Jody. Ugly? Okay.
I mean, you know, it's all.
What the? No continuity. It's like, what the fuck?
Demonic, and you don't want your children involved in that stuff. I mean, they have power. Don't think it's not real. It is real.
I put a spell on you. And now you're mine. You can't stop the things I do.
She's got huge teeth.
I lie.
yell, right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay.
But it's real wrong. And I would just say you're not permitted to go to their houses or have anything to do with them. I mean, they may seem to be very pleasant people and all that, but they'll destroy your children. And you.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sucked.
That was pretty much either, I don't know if they were mocking him or if it was just the listen to Pat and then watch part of Hocus Pocus.
I think
This mean woman yell that Harry Potter should have been killed. I mean, part of me wants to say it's fake, somebody just making fun of them, but at the same time, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, if a pagan moved in next door and their kid's being nice to your kid, don't be a douchebag. Just get to know them as people. Leave your religion belief out of it. And tell little Johnny to believe in whatever he wants to believe in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, I guess maybe what we'll do is we'll end the show early tonight. A little early. And
Okay.
And I guess so. Yeah. So next week will be our regular show. We'll be going over videos, and I think next month we'll check in about the D&D thing, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. Any other announcements?
Nope.
Not that I can think of. And like I said, I'll try to have that video up by Wednesday. And when I do, I'll share it out on Twitter. I'll throw it up on Facebook for some of you people who follow me on there still. And if you guys still want to participate in the D&D, please feel free to message me at my Twitter. For some reason, it wasn't letting me message people. So if you message me, I'll get back to you. So, cool. Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's pretty much it. Thanks all for showing up. And I hope you have a wonderful Beltane if you celebrate it tomorrow. And
sacrifice free, of course.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Only kosher virgins, please.
Kosher or kosher?
Kosher.
Kosher. Got it.
Why? What did you think I said?
Kosher. So apparently they have to be Jewish.
Yeah, that's what I said. Kosher. Am I missing something?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
I
All right. Thanks all. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody.